Donald Trump lays a smackdown on CNN by using a recycled video of him laying a smackdown on a WWE star. Meanwhile, Jeff Horn beats out Manny Pacquiao for the belt over the weekend in a controversial decision, which many people think is the wrong decision. And New Jersey Governor Chris Christie shuts down the beaches for the weekend and then goes hang out on the beach. We'll talk about that and a few other great stories from the weekend. This is the Conversations Daily Recap Podcast, and today is July 3rd, 2017. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. I am your host, your moderator, the guy that presses buttons and sends things via thisistheconversation.com on social media and the website. What is that all about? Well, it's a website and social media feeds that looks for the best in conversations, the best topics, trending, and sometimes not trending, sometimes just odd, weird things we find to talk with you about along the line. So we send out the conversations in tweets and Facebook feeds and on our website, and we ask you to respond to them, tweet, reply, answer, do what you can to them. We let you know which ones get the most responses over the day. We're very glad to have this conversation with the best people having the most intense conversations over some of the topics around the world. We thank you so much for being here. And of course, want to help you out as well in our mission. We also are looking for just sometimes raw data, and we're doing it on behalf of other companies, other projects. They're looking for your information. We have something called the Conversation Survey Panel. It's a extra special panel. It's a list where we take in your information. We will send you a link to various surveys based on who is asking us for information, and we can pay you directly. Now, if you've ever been a part of a survey system online and had to deal with the frustration of trying to qualify each time a survey link came to you and being disqualified after going through 10 minutes of qualifications to not earn 75 cents, going well past what time you wasted on the 75 cents, this will be great for you. We won't pay you massive amounts of money, but we'll pay you directly to your PayPal account. We'll send you links that are active, ready to go, because if we send it to you, you can take that quiz. Go to thisistheconversation.com/survey panel and get in on the survey panel, and we'll send you some surveys pretty quickly. We hope to do that. Now, let's get into the stories, get into the whole shebang about stories. This is Monday, the 3rd of July, so we're recapping things from the 30th of June, 3 days from Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'm sorry, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with all the news there. So starting off with a quick little story we had on bees. And scientists and studies are showing that it is pesticides. The use of pesticides are what is causing the bee colonizations, the bees, the size of colonies of bees to dwindle. We are killing our bees literally by our spread use of pesticides. And it's something that we've been doing for over 50, 60 years in a just general use in the world. It helps us grow super plants and super foods. But the process, it is actually damaging the lives and the colonies of the bees. So what we can do to combat that, we don't know. But now that we know, have a good idea what is starting to slow down our bee population. Because without the bees, we can't get the flowers anyway. Bees pollinate the flowers, they pollinate the plants. They're a big part of this thing, so we can't kill them off, or we sort of shoot ourselves in the foot, if you know what I mean. Over the weekend, over Friday, we had a small plane crashing on the 405 freeway in Los Angeles near John Wayne Airport. Now, that was a pretty quick and easy thing to handle. The plane had 2 people injured that were in the plane, and they had to go to the hospital, smoke coming out of the plane. About 9:35 local time, the twin-engine Cessna 310 crashed on the southbound 405, just shy of the runway from the airport, so it almost made it. 2 people on board were taken to a hospital. No one else was hurt. One person suffered some minor injuries. The occupants were a man and a woman in the late 50s and 60s. No cars were injured, no other dealings with. It was a fairly safe and effective thing, but this was a very big story popping up on Friday. Another big story popping up on Friday was a shooting that happened in New York City, and actually New York City Hospital. The details in this one are very, very, very just kind of disturbing, but local stories said that they were responding to shots fired at a hospital. It's the Bronx Lebanon Hospital Center in New York City, happening late Friday afternoon, or fairly early Friday afternoon, I should say. The spokesman said the suspect died from a self-inflicted gun wound and only killed one person in the rampage, Many people were shot and injured in the process, though about 6 others wounded. Now, what went down was apparently a former employee or former medical student was not sure exactly if he had actually finished his full training or if he was just in his rotations for his study, was disgruntled, was kicked out of the program, was fired from the hospital, for lack of a better term, and came back in dressed as a doctor, wearing a long lab coat, and was able to sneak in a shotgun or a rifle because he had on the lab coat and take out one person. A few other people were injured and, of course, killing himself at the end of the ordeal. Scientists confirm also, since they figured out that bees are being killed by the pesticides that we're using out there in the fields, they also confirmed that people are peeing in public pools, which is to no one's surprise to people who believe that people pee in public pools. But yes, doctors are finding very high levels of urine in tests of public pools and some private pools as well. So I guess it's okay to pee in your own pool as long as it's all about you. But if you're worried about, the safety of your pool, that, you don't have that much to worry about. There is plenty of things to take care of the pool. Chlorine in the water is taking care of the cleanliness issues. And the water, when it's not being used, no one's swimming in it, gets recycled and gets rushed out. So you're not exactly, so every morning you're starting off with essentially fresh water. But yes, if you're going to sit in the pool all day and the kids are there for summer camp, chances are they are peeing in the pool. Although the little color stuff that you do to show people that they're doing it, that is more of a myth than anything. Something that happened, a really odd thing happened here in Little Rock again. On Saturday night, Friday night into Saturday morning, should say, a nightclub was shot up, lack of a better term, at a concert from a rapper named Finesse 2 Times, which if you flip his little logo around, it does look like Anytime Fitness. But Finesse 2 Times was performing at Power Ultra Lounge here in Little Rock. I say here because I'm in Little Rock. The initial story that came down early in the morning, about 5 or 6 in the morning, this thing happened around 2, was that around 17 people were shot. That number turned up to around 28 people shot in the club. No one has fatally injured from the time, but many serious injuries, including some people who are at least temporarily paralyzed from injuries going on the scene. Now, the oddity about this was what the word on the street is. Essentially, it's a nightclub. It was a bit overpacked, and someone pulled a gun or fired a gun or showed a gun. And the majority of the shots that came out came from the stage. So this means that either there were a lot of people around the stage carrying guns, or the rapper and his posse were actually packing heat inside the club for their own protection or whatever they thought. So a lot of shots that rang from the scene of the stage, which is where a lot of the chaos came from. A day and a half later, they picked up the rapper who had moved on from town at another venue in Alabama. He picked up by federal marshals to question him again on this thing. The Little Rock police were not able to arrest any suspects and give much information on how this exactly went down. Basically, what they're going to do to fix this one is to take the liquor license from this particular club and maybe start manning the streets around them when they have bigger venues, bigger time artists like this, artists that are a bit more graphic. We'll see. Little Rock is dealing with a major amount of violence, major amount of shootings. In fact, the next day there were 2 homicides to deal with for Little Rock police. This is something that is it is indicative of the vision or the view of Little Rock from about 20 years ago in the 90s. And that view apparently is coming back to the national scene, where Little Rock's not getting a good reputation as being a safe place to be. Something else that happened on July 1st, and every July 1st, it will happen not quite forever, but for a mighty, mighty long time. A man named Bobby Bonilla got paid. Who was Bobby Bonilla? If you don't remember, Bobby Bonilla played for the New York Mets for a while, but he got a buyout to his contract back in 2000 actually. He hasn't played baseball since 2001. He is currently 54 years old, but because he was owed $5.9 million on the contract then, he decided he would just back off and let them pay him interest when it was time to start rolling around and pay him to it. That way, the Mets would save a little money now and pay him later. The problem is $5.9 million rolled up to about $29.9 million by 2011 when he started getting paid. So as these payments go out, he'll get paid from 2011 to 2035. He'll get paid from this year, or from a few years ago, until he is 72 years old. He will get an annual payment of just about $1,193,248.20 for not playing baseball for almost a decade. Good work for Bobby Bonilla. And he wasn't so bad of a player. He just was kind of a money sink at the time, and now he's still a money sink for the Mets. God bless him. Also in sports, a surprising win by Brisbane's Jeff Horn over Manny Pacquiao for the WBO welterweight title. Now, what makes it surprising and a bit controversial? Well, the young man's only been boxing for 11 years. He used to be a school teacher. He started boxing for the self-defense classes, just learning some stuff, and he turned into a professional boxer. Manny Pacquiao, of course, a many-time champion, and there is a distinguishing note in age. Of course, Horn, the younger, is only 29 years old, and Pacquiao, 38. Last seen in a major fight with Money Mayweather, which, of course, Mayweather also in his 40s, so not quite so much past their prime, but a bit older on the scale. So that's not the surprising thing. The surprising thing was the actual ability and talent that was shown in the ring, where the judges scored the fight 117-11, 111, 115-113, 115-113. That gave him the win in his home city, his home country of Australia. The problem is, many commentators and many people watching the fight around the world believe that Manny Pacquiao actually put up the better fight. So Pacquiao should be the winner. Pacquiao ends up losing a title, losing a little money, and of course he can go back to being the he's actually a politician back home, so he can go back to doing his politician thing, and of course singing karaoke, which he's not too bad at actually. Donald Trump did a couple things over the weekend. Number one, on Friday, he set a plan in action to send federal troops to help Chicago and its violence. Now, Chicago's violence has been basically legendary for the past couple of years, and he's actually jumped on former President Barack Obama for not taking care of it. He says he's taking care of it. He's sending troops to help squash the violence. Unless he plans on shooting the violent offenders, I don't see how that's actually going to work, but that's what he's doing. Meanwhile, he's being accused of being more violent towards the media by amping up his attacks on Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough on Saturday with more tweets against them, although saying they're not so much bad people, but their bosses, MSNBC, are telling them what to say, and that's why the show's so badly rated, even though he, of course, said Mika had a bad facelift, was bleeding from the face and all that stuff. He amped it up even more Sunday morning with a retweet of a doctored video, and it's a meme, so it's doctored video from way back when he was participating in WrestleMania. It was when he attacked Vince McMahon, who was standing outside the ring, and he did a quick little clothesline and knocked him down. Only this time they superimposed a big CNN square on the head, so it's Donald Trump knocking out CNN. This, of course, is taking over life for everything, and that is basically all they're talking about. Even this morning, it's all about Donald Trump and this CNN tweet, which CNN has a right to be a bit upset. But essentially, the world is discounting, one, the Mika Brzezinski tweet, and two, this one as being frivolous, stupid, and very, very, very childish. But it's all anybody's talking about. We're not talking about healthcare. We're barely talking about the G20 summit he's going to this week, where he's going to talk to Putin, but not about Russian elections. And, well, yeah, that. Meanwhile, New Jersey governors shut down the state over the weekend, or essentially starting on Saturday. The deadline to get a deal done to get a budget passed was the 30th of June. Didn't happen. Chris Christie shuts down the state, so many state places are not open today and may not be open for your holiday things tomorrow unless they come up with some sort of very weird emergency thing while everybody is technically off for the weekend. However, the governor has a private compound. I'll call it compound. There's a private estate that is on one of the state grounds, on the beaches, and he and his family are hanging out at the beach. They're on the beach that's closed because that's where the governor can stay. That's already manned. That's in the budget. But the budget for you to come out to the beach for the weekend, not going to happen. And also late yesterday, an Amtrak trail derails in Washington near a very popular golf course. Now, some details on that. The Amtrak Cascades train derailed near Chambers Bay Golf Course in Pierce County, Washington. This is Washington State, of course. No serious injuries. Some people suffer some minor ones, according to the statement. None of the crew was injured as well. About 2:30 p.m. local time, 4 cars derailed, none of them manned. None of them going into the water, but they were basically baggage cars, and the locomotive just derailed, and everyone else got out safe. The people were able to get off the train and get onto their destination within a few hours. Of course, this is still being investigated. Those are the stories that we chatted about, some of the ones we chatted about for the weekend, and we have plenty of great things that we suspect we'll talk about for the week. If we're not talking about Donald Trump and tweeting, which apparently is while we're talking about nationwide at the moment. So if you want to get in on what we're doing, you can do it by tweeting, oddly enough. We are on social media at thisistheconversation.com for Facebook, and on Twitter, @TH_conversation. Follow us on those platforms, and when you see us in your timeline, make sure if you're on Facebook, you set your settings so you see our posts as they come down so you don't miss out on what's going on. It's a great way to see what's happening, and of course, share those with your friends. On Twitter, it's simple. Retweet, respond, reply, say a like, do what you love there, and just go to the website, thisistheconversation.com, and reply on the comments inside of each separate post. Each story gets posted there as a post, and you can see it there, and you can reply there as well. That's an awesome way to get us some feedback to what's good, what's not so good, and what we should talk more about more. In the meantime, if you want to see more things I have going on outside of This is the Conversation, I have a website that is called jclevelandpayne.net, because that's what it's called. Check it out. You can see what other projects I have going on, including for personal development and motivation and some business type things as well. In the meantime, thank you. Thank you for being a part of the community. Thank you for being a part of the gang. Thank you for being in on this fun we have here for This is the Conversation. You have no idea how great it is to live in a country and live in a world where free conversation is available, because there's very many places around here, sometimes here in this country, sometimes here in the world speaking, that don't have those same rights and abilities to say what they want to say and do what they want to do and be what they want to be. So thank you for helping us spread a little bit of love, a little bit of freedom here from Little Rock, Arkansas. And don't forget, subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on any single days coming up. We have a daily recap Monday through Friday. On Mondays, of course, we recap the full weekend. On Saturdays, we go through the top 10 stories and then some other stories to tell you for the week, to tell you which ones got the big full traction for the week. And, of course, Sundays, we're going to start opening up very soon with a Sunday commentary. So you'll get to hear from me and other people that work around this project, This is the Conversation, what we really feel deeply into some of the bigger issues. It's going to be not so much controversial, but it is another way for us to share a way to talk about the issues, get the real world out to you in the real world. So hopefully you will enjoy that. Hopefully we'll get plenty of comments on that one. We need you to share this with other people, and of course give us ratings and reviews wherever you get it from, and be back tomorrow. We'll talk about all the conversations that happened that hopefully won't be overtaken by Donald Trump tweets. We'll see what happens for Monday's conversations on tomorrow's edition of the Daily Recap Podcast from This is the Conversation.